All right, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster coming back here once again, and I'm here to give you guys your evening forecast update. And this is going to be a very interesting forecast for you guys this evening here. So if you guys can do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, comment. Let's get this out to some folks. That way people can be aware of what we're looking at for the potential of next week here. So first and foremost, guys, it has been a hot and humid day, as Medea would say. Across Arkansas for today here, guys. And I told you guys this morning that we were going to be looking at the potential of heat indexes 105 to 110, and also in the excessive heat warning area up to 115 across southeastern Arkansas for today here, guys. So more of that's going to be the same for tomorrow, and then as we get towards the end of the week, the ridge that is over our heads right now will begin to move on towards east, but it's not going to result in a major cool down, guys, but it will be a lot better than what we're dealing with right now. So speaking of temperatures, let's go ahead and get that up for you guys here, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about next week, because I made a post about it earlier, and I'm looking at it right now, and I could tell it took off like a rocket. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that here in just a little bit. So right now, 99 degrees in Russellville, 99 in Camden, 99 in Fort Smith, 97 in El Dorado and Texarkana, 93 up there in Jonesboro, 93 in Piggott, 97 in Mountain Home at this current time here, 91 in higher elevations up there in Jasper, and some upper 80s up here in the Ozarks and down here in the Ouachitas at this current time here. High heat combined with high humidity results in these kind of heat indexes here. So right now, 107 down there in El Dorado, 100 in Little Rock, 112 right now in Camden, to 121 up there in Piggott, which is a false reading, 105 up there in Jonesboro, 110. So this is where your excessive heat warning is right now here across eastern Arkansas. And you've got heat indexes 107 up to 110 right now. So the excessive heat warnings are doing pretty good over here in eastern Arkansas. And then you got the massive heat advisories for all of Arkansas behind it. So heat indexes up there in northwest Arkansas in the upper 90s. In the higher elevations, a little cooler, but down in the valley, it's a lot warmer at this current time here. So let's talk about the tropics here. Let's track the tropics real quickly here, guys, and I'm going to talk about what's going on here. So first and foremost, we do have Invest 97L, and we have Invest 98L out here in the Atlantic, and you can see both systems look very impressive here. So if you're out there wondering when the tropics were going to wake up, tropics have woken up in a big way here. So what I'm going to do is going to put a 5-day formation outlook here. So the one up here for Invest 97L, 70% chance of development over the next 5 days. The one down here, 30% chance of development, because what's going to happen as this system moves to the west-northwest, it is going to run into some unfavorable conditions. So I'm not expecting much out of that system here, but the system up here in the central Atlantic may become a tropical storm or even a named storm over the next couple of days here. Now, let's pay attention to our neck of the woods here, and this is in what will be Invest 99L once we get a good area of thunderstorm activity around a low pressure over here in the Caribbean, and it starts moving east and it starts really getting its act together here. So I'll let you guys know once we get a designated invest with this system. But right now, sitting at 60% chance of development over the next 5 days here, and you can see already on satellite, really good structure with this system right now here, and I wouldn't be shocked if we get an invest developed out of this tonight or even first thing tomorrow morning here. But that's not what's the issue with this system right now here. My issue with this system is where it's going to end up tracking. So right now, we have this going over the Yucatan Peninsula and into the southern Gulf of Mexico, the Bay and Campeche area. This is where the forecast becomes very, very uncertain. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to turn off lightning and I'm going to turn off the satellite to show you guys what we're looking at here. So this is what we're looking at here, 60% chance of development over the next 5 days. What's going to happen is, and I talked about this yesterday, and excuse my draw is not the best, but we have a center of high pressure over Arkansas at this current point here. So I'm going to kind of take this so you guys can see at this point here. So you can see when the severe thunderstorm watches up here in the Midwest, this is where your storm jet is. So right now, the ridge is centered right over Arkansas, or even just a tad to the west. Over the next day or so, it's going to center itself right over Arkansas. And then what's going to happen is we get towards Thursday and Friday, it's going to move eastward. And that will set us up for the potential of some tropical weather as we get towards the weekend and into early next week here. Because what's going to happen is this, and I apologize for trying to get the pen to work with me here. So there's your ridge here, all right. And what's going to end up happening is whatever develops down here in the Bay of Campeche or in the Yucatan Peninsula, and also another thing to note down here is if it goes over land or not. If it goes over land, weaker system, likely chance that it's probably going to be a Texas deal. A stronger system would impact us here in Arkansas. So if you're looking for rainfall or quote-unquote cool temperatures, because it's not going to get significant cooler, but if you're looking for some decent rainfall, you need this system to be a pretty decent tropical system down here in the Gulf of Mexico. If it's a tropical depression, probably going to make a run for Mexico or Texas, and even then, we may see some impacts here because you are going to have an approaching cold front. So here's your cold front here. I'm going to see if I can get this to draw out for me. All right, so your cold front is going to be extended just like this, okay? All right, in the Midwest. And then you're going to have another ridge out here towards the west. Now, what's going to happen is whatever develops out here in the Bay of Campeche will have two runs, okay? One I just mentioned a second ago that takes it towards Mexico and southern Texas. There's one that could take it up towards the Texas coastline, which would still bring impacts for us here in Arkansas. And there's another one that may take it straight into south central Louisiana and straight up into Arkansas, which you guys saw earlier with the European model. The one thing I want to stress is, where does the center develop? That is the number one question right now on who will see impacts as we get towards next week. If the center develops further to the south, it's going to be a Texas and Mexico deal. If it further to the north, like the Euro suggested, it will impact us here in Arkansas. Now, I want to kind of take the two scenarios and put them out just like this. So this scenario happens and it goes straight into Texas and Texas coastline. The main system will miss us to the west. However, if you are on that eastern side, and you saw this with several tropical systems here, we saw this with Elsa, we saw this with Fred earlier on. If you're on the eastern side of these tropical systems, you have the potential of seeing tropical tornadoes. The tropical tornadoes can go out as high as 100 to 200 miles away from the center, especially on this eastern side, because you have those feeder bands coming in from the south and east moving northwest. So if you're on the eastern side, that will put you at a higher threat for the potential of seeing isolated tropical tornadoes. If you're on the western side, you hardly won't see much at all, especially after landfall. So that being said, that's something that we're going to continue to monitor over the next couple of days. If it takes a track through Louisiana, and this is what so basically you're kind of cutting this in half, what GFS and what Euro is suggesting at this point here. And I'm going to show you guys that with Futurecast here in just a little bit. So this is what the GFS basically does. Takes it in Texas, Euro takes it in Louisiana. It goes straight into Louisiana and goes straight up into Arkansas, similar to what Laura did last year. And this is not going to be another Laura, by the way. If that happens, rain chances go up significantly. All right, and on top of that, you look at the potential of tropical depression / tropical storm conditions for early to mid part of next week here. I was conferring this forecast with our chief forecaster, Derek, here. Both of us were sitting here kind of wondering what we should do for early next week because of the uncertainty with models. I'm going to go over that in your 7-day forecast here in a little bit as well here. So these two scenarios right now, I would kind of put 30, 40 right now because of the fact of we do not know where the center is going to develop, if what land interaction it's going to have, what we're looking at potentially. So right now, the better shot is Texas and Mexico at this point. However, I am not ruling out Texas or Louisiana at this time here. That's why I made that post earlier to stay with us, guys. And I know a lot of folks are saying that they can't see our posts or anything like that. That's why I told you guys at the beginning of this video to share this forecast, share our page. That way folks can stay updated and not miss crucial information like this. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pull up some model guidance real quickly here, guys. So I'm going to turn this on for just a moment. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. So if you were to go with the GFS, and the GFS right now is having a hard time with that system down there in the Caribbean, but let's just say it happens here. So we're looking at, let me go ahead and take this out to, I would say, this weekend here. So here we are as we get towards the 31st here, and that is putting us towards early next week here. So this is where your system makes landfall here. I'm going to kind of back this up a little bit. I think I went a little too far. So here's the system out here in the Gulf of Mexico here. So there's your tropical system, more than likely a pretty decent tropical storm here. I'm going to see if I can turn on your 500 millibar. So there's your 500 millibar real quickly here. So there's the area of low pressure here making a landfall along the Texas coastline. This is why I'm suggesting that even if it misses us towards the west, we would still see some impacts here in Arkansas. Because you take this out to about, I would say, 7 o'clock in the morning next Tuesday here. There's your center of low pressure making a landfall. There's your feeder bands, and that's why you have to watch these feeder bands, because we take this out to about 1 o'clock next Tuesday. Center makes landfall in southern Texas, but you've got several feeder bands coming into Arkansas, and also you can even see it here. Here we are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon next Tuesday. These little pop-up showers that you're seeing. Every single one of those showers would have to be watched for the potential of isolated tropical tornadoes, because you're on the eastern side. You've got southeast winds pumping into Arkansas, and even then, here we are as we get towards 7 o'clock next Tuesday here. You can see those feeder bands coming into southern Arkansas at this point as well. So that's why I'm saying both GFS and Euro both have significant, well, take that back, both have decent tropical impacts here in Arkansas as we get towards early part of next week. However, there's still a lot of uncertainty because we do not have an area of low pressure that has developed at this current time here. So we'll keep you guys updated on all that. But I can even take this out to right around 1 o'clock in the morning, and you can see there's your area of low pressure here in Texas, and it just sits here. This area can see a lot of rainfall here, and this spreads into northeastern Texas, northwest Louisiana, and into southern Arkansas here. So that's why we're saying we're going to continue to monitor the system. Euro is about a good 200 miles to the east. It brings it right over Arkansas, and it brings a significant amount of rainfall. We're talking in some places in eastern Arkansas could make a run for half a foot of rainfall if you were to go with the Euro. So there's lots of model uncertainty. We'll keep you guys updated on that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about your weather highlights for today here, guys. I'm going to take this banner off real quickly here. So give me 1 second. Okay, so there we go. So for today, heat advisories and heat warnings, excessive heat warnings continue for tomorrow here. The heat wave continues through tomorrow as well. Temperatures near 100 degrees, similar to what you saw today. And heat index is 105 to 110 plus. The excessive heat warning down there in southeastern Arkansas will be replaced with a heat advisory for tomorrow. However, some excessive heat warnings could be reissued if guidance comes back with the similar what we saw with today. So the heat ridge will relocate to the east. That will set us up for afternoon showers and thunderstorms as we get towards the weekend. And then by the time we get towards late weekend and the early part of next week, we will be watching whatever happens out of that tropical system down there in the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, impacts look limited, but that can and more than likely will change. So stay with us here at Arkansas Weather Watcher. So that being said, let's go and talk about your 7-day forecast here. So for northern Arkansas, for Wednesday through Friday, dry, hot, and humid. High temperatures in the low to mid, even in some cases upper 90s for tomorrow. Overnight lows in the 70s here. As we get towards the weekend, ridge moves east. Southeast winds come into the natural state. Rain chances increase mainly during the afternoon on Saturday. High temperatures by that point back down into the low 90s. Overnight lows in the low 70s. This is where the forecast becomes very, very uncertain. This is what made me and Derek sit here for about 20 minutes doing this. Because Monday and Tuesday right now, whatever happens out of that tropical system down there in the Gulf will make or break your forecast for early next week. Right now, based off us conferring with each other and going off of guidance and kind of putting together a good forecast for early next week, 50% chance of rain looks to be the better call right now. This may go significantly up or it may go significantly down. If it goes down, temperatures will go back up as we get towards early next week. If the tropical system gets here, temperatures will go down, rain chances will go significantly up. So that's why we're saying right now, keep an eye on early next week here. High temperatures. Right now, we're going mid to upper 80s, overnight lows in the 70s here. 50% chance of rain, showers and thunderstorms here. Right now, tropical impacts are very, very uncertain at this current time here. That's why we have the tropical trouble icon above Monday and Tuesday at this point. Central Arkansas, more the same. Very hot and humid for tomorrow. Dangerous heat index is 105 to 110. We get towards the weekend, 20% chance of rain Saturday afternoon. Should be a watch out. As we get towards the late part of the weekend into early part of next week, potential tropical trouble. As we get towards that Monday, high temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s, overnight lows in the 70s here. 50% chance of rain for both Monday and Tuesday. So if we get a good confidence on this is going to impact Arkansas, we will not hesitate and we will increase rain chances significantly for early next week. Right now, we're playing the safe card because we do not have a center of low pressure. So models right now are creating your own tracks. They're creating your own scenarios right now. So until we get a defined area of low pressure, a designated invest, models are not going to have a good handle on the system right now. So we're going to continue to monitor. But the one thing that's working in our favor for early next week is that the steering flow will favor a Gulf of Mexico a Gulf Coast tropical impact, especially either from Texas or upwards to Louisiana. So if you have any interest along the Texas or Louisiana coastline for early next week, keep in mind that you may be dealing with a tropical system and plan accordingly. We're not expecting a big time hurricane down there. However, I want to raise caution. The Gulf of Mexico is very, very warm right now. Upper 80s, low 90s. Shear does not look to be too big of a problem down there as well. We saw this with Grace. Grace went from a pretty decent tropical storm to almost a Category 4 hurricane. So we're going to monitor this system very, very closely over the next couple of days. Rain chances will be readjusted as we get towards early next week over the next couple of days as well. Southern Arkansas, more the same here. 100 for tomorrow. High temperatures in the low hundreds, overnight lows in the low to mid 70s here. Rain chances return as we get to our starting Friday. Mainly during the afternoon, there are going to be those pop-up hit or miss thunderstorms here. Some areas may not see rainfall while others will. Temperatures still hot, but not as hot as they are or are going to be as starting tomorrow. So as we get towards the weekend and the early part of next week, uncertainty at this current time here. Right now, upper 80s, low 90s, overnight lows in the 70s, 50% props for chances of showers and thunderstorms for early next week here. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.